Hello, this is JG, and this is podcast Unicall, Codependency No More. Oh yeah, when discussing narcissistic personality disorder, it is common to emphasize the traumatic experiences of childhood, such as mistreatment, neglect, and abuse. However, a less explored aspect is the impact of an overly permissive and spoiled upbringing. So in this podcast, I'd like to investigate with you whether narcissists who were spoiled also suffer, analyzing how excessive pampering can negatively influence a person's emotional and psychological development. But before I continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, thumbs up, and also turn on the little bell so that you can get all the notifications. Well, the narcissistic personality disorders is commonly known as something characterized by a grandiose sense of self-importance, a constant need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. This is the classical definition for the personality disorder. But there are a lot of other things to consider. There are a lot of different aspects in each person with the narcissistic personality disorder. While we often associate this disorder with experiences of abuse and neglect in childhood, it is important to recognize that excessive pampering can also be a form of emotional abuse, leading to the development of narcissistic traits. Well, what I'm talking about here is that when it comes to upbringing, we have to consider that the role of caregivers they play a role in the emotional and psychological development of children. They provide the foundations of healthy growth, teaching essential skills to face adult life with confidence and capability. However, when caregivers offer excessive control, invading the child's boundaries and privacy, the impact can be devastating. Donald Winnicott, a famous psychiatrist, he was also a psychoanalyst and a doctor. He said something interesting. He said that not having a mother can be bad, but having an excession of mother, it can be horrible. So in terms of excessive upbringing, we can say that overly pampering a child can prevent them from developing essential skills of autonomy, self-esteem, and resilience. By constantly catering to the child's every wish and whim, caregivers may be fulfilling their own emotional needs rather than providing genuine and balanced love. This behavior can be considered a form of emotional abuse, as it hinders the child from going through the natural processes of personality development. What I'm saying here is that if the child is just like Freud said, here comes the king, hail to the king of the house, the baby. Yes, since the baby is born, the parents want to give the best, want to give them the everything. But what are the impacts in adulthood? Well, we can say that excessively pampered children may grow up with an exaggerated sense of their own importance, believing that their needs are always number one, always a priority, and that the world revolves around them. They may develop an inflated self-image, becoming vulnerable when faced with criticism or frustration. And additionally, a lack of empathy is a common characteristic among narcissists, often stemming from an upbringing that did not encourage consideration of others' needs. What can I do as a parent? What can I do as a caregiver? Well, empathy and boundaries are important to establish, to set up a healthy personality. Empathy is the ability to place yourself in someone else's shoes, but not only that, also try to understand their feelings and showing compassion. So spoiled children may not learn to establish or recognize boundaries, becoming adults incapable of perceiving and respecting others' feelings. This empathic deficit hinders emotional relationships and perpetuates narcissistic behaviors. What can we conclude from this short podcast, but very important podcast? We can conclude that excessive pampering, often mistaken for love, people think that they're giving a lot of love, but that's not true. And this can be a form of manipulation to satisfy caregivers' emotional needs at the expense of the child's healthy development. It is essential for children to experience a balance of love, security, and frustrations adequately, preparing them for adult life. So, understanding narcissism and its roots, I believe that it can help us evolve and improve our own attitudes and behaviors. Don't forget, too much love, as the song from Queen said, too much love will kill you. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe right now. Thumbs up for the video. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.